Hey, Awaken friends, Chris here, and welcome to the third class in the Ascension series. In the first classes, we went through the foundational elements of Warrior 1, Warrior 2, Mountain Pose, Tadasana. We've kind of journeyed on where to cue, where to keep our knees, our feet, where to sit in our space and on our mat. This class is more of a flowing sequence. We will move through Warrior 1s, Warrior 2s, side angle poses. We're going to flow through Reverse Warriors. This is about making you feel connected to the movement and breath that is a Vinyasa yoga class. If you don't already like us, please like this video, subscribe, comment, helps us grow. It helps connect you to more of these classes. It lets the AI know that this is what you're interested in. So please do all of those things. And when you're ready, we're going to come into our mat. Generally, through the Awaken yoga classes and for Vinyasa sequences, I don't do much of a warm up. I invite you to go and do another warm up from one of our other playlists so that you can just dial into this moment and get into it if you need to. You don't have to jump around. For this class, as part of the Ascension sequence, I'll take you through 2 quick warm ups, which is pretty standard for any one of my classes, cat cow and another. But first, I invite you to ground into the mat, lifting your 10 toes, grip down, bringing energy up through your legs, inner thighs rolling in, tailbone pointing out towards the ground, arriving up, hands open to the front of the room. And we arrive with our shoulders back into our Tadasana pose. And let's breathe in to the count of 4 here, in through the nose. In 1. Oh, no. I'll cut that bit. Arriving into our Tadasana pose, grounding in here. I'm going to invite you to do some simple box breathing while we stay in this pose today. And as we box breathe, it's in through the nose, out through the nose, and really focusing on bringing that breath as our stomach moves out and focusing on our ribs and our chest. So in through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and out through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. In through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and out 2, 3, 4. Bring your hands up in a gentle high prayer. Fingertips touch above our head. And let's open our hands up and cactus. And as we cactus, our elbows come down to a 90-degree angle. Our chest opens nice and brightly towards your sky or the trees that have got these really loud cicadas near me. And exhale, hands coming down. It's summer here in Sydney and the cicadas are out in force. I don't know if I'll be able to edit them out, so you might hear a bit of background noise. Inhale as our hands come up to the sky. One more time as we cactus, opening to the front of our space. And exhale down. Let's come down to a tabletop position. Hands are going to come down onto the ground. Our shoulders are stacking over our wrists. Our knees are underneath our hips. And let's open up as we articulate our spine into this cow position. Our spine is coming down towards the ground. Our chest is open, shoulders rolling back, collarbones to the front of the room. And exhale. Articulating and doming that spine up to the sky. And imagine your hips are moving towards the front of the room. And inhale as we open up nice and proudly and brightly to the front of the room. And exhale, coming through. And now for a couple of moments, do this in your own space. Move around, maybe bending your elbows a little bit. Just bending into a little movement through your shoulders, through your hips. And just feel, what is your body feeling today? What do you need? Where is somewhere that's a bit surprising? It might feel a little bit tight, a little bit strong for you. When we arrive back into the centering space, let's tuck our toes and we're going to come straight up into a down dog. Now, for your first down dog of the day, a gentle bend in the knees to preserve that lower back. Shoulders are rolling back. We're elongating our spine to keep it the length that we started with in our Tadasana pose. And our hips might move towards the mat or the back of the room, but our tailbone is gently pointing up to the sky. And breathe here. In through the nose, out through the nose. Centering into your space. And coming to the ball of our left foot, let's float our right foot up to the sky, keeping our hips in alignment. So our hips aren't opening up. We've got them in a nice, gentle alignment. And we're going to tiger curl our knee to our nose 1 time. And exhale that foot back up to the sky. And then this time, bringing our foot again through that tiger curl position, And our right toes are going to line up near our right thumb. And we're going to bring our left knee down to the ground and coming up into an Ardha Anjaneyasana, a lowered kneeling position. So we bring our hands up, biceps by ears, and breathe here in through the nose. And on your exhale, let's cactus, opening that chest to the front of the room. Hands come down to the ground to frame your right foot. And let's just gently straighten the right knee. And you may not get to a fully straight position as we bring our chest and our head towards the knee, towards the leg. Might be a nice bend here that preserves our lower back. But move to wherever feels nice today. And then bending back forward. Palms will plant down next to the right foot. And bring the right foot back next to the left. And let's sit back to the heels. Fingertips arriving back overhead. And cactus. Open, chest opening. Hands down to the ground. Hands will come back to the top of the mat. Palms down, tucking the toes, and back up into our downward facing dog. And this time to the ball of the right foot as the left foot floats up to the sky with the strength through there. Again, we're focusing on our hips, keeping in alignment. And tiger curling up one time. That knee is going to come up towards your nose. Touch. And exhale, back up to the sky. And then bringing that foot all the way up to our thumb. And our right knee is going to come down to the ground as we move back to our Ardha Anjaneyasana, our lowered kneeling position, lowered lunge, biceps up by ears for the length and strength through your back. Breathe here, inhale and exhale as we cactus again. Hands coming down and bringing our hands down to the ground, framing that left foot with our palms, left foot back to right. And you might be in a plank position as I move to this time, or you might be kneeling. But if you're in a plank position or kneeling, let's try and come down to a lower position on the ground. Untuck the toes. That means you've got to step forward or move forward. Shimmy your way through and arrive here with us. And then for one time, let's press up into a cobra position. And the cobra is not so much about pressing through our hands. It's about lifting up through our upper back and not putting too much pressure on our lower back. Exhale down. Bring our hands back down by our sides. And so we're going to move into a locust position. To start with, for the first one, keeping your hands pressing into the ground quite strongly and firmly, let's lift our legs, pointing your toes to the back of the room, keeping our thighs together, our knees together. Let's just lift them up and then lower them down. And then this time as we lift the legs up, let's bring our chest with us so our shoulders are coming up. We're keeping our neck in alignment with our back, so we're not focusing to look at the front of the room. And we're keeping our neck in a nice long alignment. Our palms are facing down towards the ground. As we lift up, we're opening our shoulders here. And this is a nice locust position. Exhale down. And inhale, moving back up through our locust position. Legs moving to the back of the room. Strength through our arms, feeling this through our shoulders, our upper back, and exhale down. Hands coming under our chest. Let's lift up into a hero's position. So just walking all the way back. And take a moment to breathe here. Center into that breath. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. One more centering breath. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. And let's get into a bit of a fun, flowy sequence. So with that, we're going to bring our hands up to the front of the mat, palms down to the ground, tucking our toes. Let's move back up into our downward facing dog. The knees may be bent beautifully here to preserve that back, keeping in alignment. We'll move to wherever feels comfortable to you. Just focus on those shoulders opening so that your back is in alignment. Coming to the ball of the left foot, right foot will float up to the sky. Again, with the hips in alignment here as we bring the knee up, doming through the spine, and the right toes come up to the right thumb. And we open our left foot into a 45-degree angle as we arrive into our warrior one. Right knee over right ankle, and then opening that as we pivot to the left side of the mat to our warrior two. Arms coming out from the shoulders, gazing over the right fingers here. And then left hand will float around. Thumbs will almost touch each other, coming down to frame the right foot, palms to the ground, right foot back to the left. Knees may come down or staying up in plank as we slowly lower to the ground and arrive through our chaturanga into a cobra position or pressing up into an upward dog. Rolling over the toes, let's come back to our downward facing dog and breathe here. In through the nose, out through the nose, and connect into this space. On the next inhale, coming to the ball of the right foot, the left foot will float up to the sky. And then bringing the left knee up and through, left thumb to the left big toe, right foot turn to 45-degree angle as we arrive up into our warrior one. Hips moving to the front of the room, chest open and proud. Your neck is long and you can feel the grounding through the outer edge of your right foot and open as we pivot to the right side of the mat. Left knee is tracking over the left ankle. You can feel the hips here, grounding again through the feet. And we can open our shoulders, filling out, bringing that right hand around, meeting the left, coming down to frame the left foot, stepping back into our plank pose or our supported plank, and slowly lowering down to the ground. And pressing up to cobra or up dog. And if you're in up dog, our thighs are off the ground, feet pressing firmly into the ground, and rolling over the toes. And back to downward facing dog. Bringing our knees down to the ground, sitting back to the heels. And the kookaburra has arrived. Getting all the Australian wildlife today. And let's breathe into the space. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Hands coming back to the top of the mat, tucking our toes, lifting our hips up to the sky, tailbone pointing up toward the sky or the roof, wherever you are. Coming to the ball of the left foot, right foot will float up to the sky. The right foot will tiger curl one time as it moves up, right foot up to right thumb. This time we're going to arrive straight into our warrior two, flowing our hands open. Left foot is 90 degrees to the back of the mat as we open into our warrior two. And hold here. And then flipping both palms, let's float them up to a high prayer. Our fingertips touch, our right knee straightens. And exhale, opening back into our warrior two. Maybe going a little bit deeper here as we float back up into a flying warrior. And flowing down. This time let's just pause in our warrior two, feeling our shoulders open, strength through our arms, flipping the right palm. Let's just windmill these kind of up in the unison as our left hand comes down our left thigh. We come to reverse warrior. Now your gaze may be up to the roof. It may be up to the sky. It may be following your fingertips, wherever feels comfortable for you today. And exhale, bringing those hands back through. And you bring your right palm, flipping it over. Left palm floats and follows around, arrives with it, comes down to the ground to frame your right foot. Right foot steps back to left in a plank or lowered plank. Elbows come through to graze past your chest as you come to the ground. And pressing up to cobra or upward facing dog. And rolling over the toes and back to downward facing dog. And breathe in here. In through that nose and out through the nose to center. In through the nose and out through the nose. Coming to the ball of the right foot, the left foot will float up to the sky, keeping our hips in nice alignment here and bringing that knee up, articulating through the chest as your left thumb and left toes meet each other on the mat. Right foot turns to 90 degrees, floating open to warrior two. Shoulders rolling open, grounding through the outer edge of your right foot, feeling that strength into this space, flipping both palms, flying up to a flying warrior. And exhale, coming back, maybe just going a tad bit deeper here. And inhale, flying up again. And exhale, opening. And this time flipping your left palm, and flowing back to reverse warrior. And again, your gaze can be to the sky, to your hand, to your fingertips. Find your drishti and follow it. And exhale, flowing back. Right hand meets left as you float down, framing your left foot back to right into a plank or lower plank, and coming down to the ground. Pressing up into your cobra or up dog, and exhale over the toes to downward facing dog. And coming to the balls of both feet, bringing the knees down to the ground, sitting back to the heels. And let's breathe here. Inhale and exhale. Center into your space, into your movement. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. And when you're ready, hands are going to walk to the front of the mat. Palms pressing down, tucking those toes. Let's come back up into our downward facing dog. Pressing the length through our back here. Heels moving towards the mat. Again, keeping your knees bent will preserve your lower back. Modern yoga is all about preserving that back because we sit in chairs all day, so we don't have the same bodies as our other ancient yogi counterparts. Coming to the ball of the left foot, right foot floats up to the sky. Right knee tiger curls up one time, really doming through the spine. Your right big toe comes up to your right thumb. And again, if it takes you a few little stops to get there, it's perfectly fine and perfectly normal. Right foot comes to 90 degrees, and let's float up into our warrior two. Arms coming out from shoulders, shoulders open. Really feeling the strength of our knee over our right ankle. And now flip both palms and float up for flying warrior one time. And exhale, back, flipping our right palm, flow back to a reverse warrior. And as we come back, this time, let's straighten the right knee. We might bring the left foot in a step. And we're going to bring our hands back. It's kind of in this warrior position. We're going to move through triangle. So with triangle is about reaching as far as you can. And as we reach, we hinge at the hips. We're pulling our hips back and we're reaching. We keep reaching as we keep hinging back. Hips are in alignment as they're moving back towards the back of the mat. Reaching. And then we start to twist down. Now, with a triangle, hand on the shin is great. It gives you more elevation through the chest and through the hips so that you can press up. If you feel like you can move down, do it. But keeping that pressing action on your shin wherever you've landed will keep you pressing up through the hips, opening through the chest, which is the most important part of a triangle. Some people can move down to the ground, they can grip the big toe. All these places are great to go to, but when you're starting out and you're beginning, focus on what feels best for your hips, your chest, your back, your movements. It's about modern yoga. It's about your body in this space. And then bending the right knee, let's flow back open into a warrior two. Hands will come up for a flying warrior one time, fingertips touch. And let's bring our hands down to frame our right foot. Right foot steps back to meet left. And we're back in our plank pose. And let's come down to the ground. Lifting up into an upward dog. And rolling over the toes. And we're back into our downward facing dog. Coming to the ball of the right foot. Left foot floats up to the sky. We bring that up, doming through our spine one time. Left big toe to left thumb. And we open into our warrior two. Flowing, arriving. I use different hand movements depending on the side and the pose I'm in before. It's up to you how you want to arrive there. Flipping both palms, let's fly up in a flying warrior. Fingertips touch. And open. Back. Flipping the left palm, flow back into reverse warrior. Following your drishti for wherever suits you. And then exhale. Hands will come back as we straighten the left knee. Bringing the right foot in just a step. If you need it, it's up to you wherever you go. And again, I want you to reach first. Reaching. Hips are moving back towards the back of the mat. We're keeping hips in alignment. We're not leaning one side or the other. Hips are moving back. We're reaching. When we can't reach anymore, we start to twist. Just turning like the hands of a clock. As our right hand comes up to the sky, left hand arrives onto your shin. And with your left hand, pressing that chest open, those hips open, feeling that alignment, feeling that hand moving up to the sky. If you're feeling adventurous, you can go down a little bit lower, but the lower you get, the greater the chance is that you'll twist your chest or your hips will cave in. You've got to really preserve this opening to really get up into that space. It feels great to be there. And then bending the left knee, hands come back to our warrior two, flipping both palms, flying up to our flying warrior, and then turning towards the front of the mat, hands come down to frame the left foot steps back to right into our nice plank pose, elbows coming down, grazing past your chest, pressing up into our upward facing dog. And this time, knees are together. Let's come back to a closed child's position, child's pose. So with your knees together, hands can start out in front with your forehead down towards the ground. You'll bring your hands down by your knees. If this is too much pressure on your knees, you can take your knees out to the side of the mat. But this nice closed off child pose is often called embryo pose by some, or wisdom pose by some of my fellow yoga teacher trainers that did the course with me. And I think it's quite wise to finish a pose like this. So I quite like wisdom pose. And breathe here. Inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, coming back up to a seated position, let's just roll down to the ground, bringing our feet out in front of us, sliding down the mat a little bit, heels towards the back of the mat, and articulating the spine as you roll down towards the ground. We're going to finish this by bringing our right knee up into our chest and tuck up into the right shoulder. We're going to slowly move our right knee, bring your right hand up to the sky, and our right knee will come over towards the ground. Now, it doesn't need to touch the ground. It's perfectly fine if it doesn't make it. You can tuck the right toes behind the left knee. I mean, that will help it if it's floating. If it can reach the ground, great. Then you open the right hand to the right side of the room, gazing over the right fingers. If your knee's floating, just tuck it behind and it's all good. And then coming back to center, right knee to the back of the mat, left knee coming up, bringing it into the chest, and flowing the same way. Left hand up to the sky, move a microphone pack so you don't squish it, and then bring the left knee down to the ground and open the left hand up, gazing over it. Left knee doesn't need to touch the ground. You can tuck the left toes behind the right knee and just float it up. So whatever feels good. If it puts pressure into your lower back, don't do it. Don't force it. Don't do it. Just move to wherever feels good. Your body will naturally open over time. It's quite an amazing piece of machinery. Then arriving back to center, we'll land here for Shavasana. Just breathing into the space. Breathe into your moment here. There are many other cool downs in other playlists. If you want to find something to take a longer period or you want to jump into something else, please move through that. This is our first real flowy sequence on the Ascension series. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found some connection to the movement and to your breath. And I hope you continue to join us on this evolving journey. Namaste. Have a great day and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.